After the last battle, the frontier became quiet again. But the ghost sheriff knew the silence would not last. One night, a strange red light appeared in the distant mountains. Old miners whispered about a forgotten city buried beneath the desert. Something ancient was waking up. The ghost sheriff rode toward Red Canyon. There he found burned wagons and empty camps. On a rock wall, a symbol was carved, a black crown surrounded by fire. It was the mark of a new enemy. Soon, a group of armored riders appeared on the horizon. They called themselves the Iron Storm Riders. Their leader sent a message. The frontier will belong to us. In a small desert town, the ghost sheriff met an old friend, a former marshal who once fought beside him. The marshal revealed a shocking truth. The Iron Storm Riders were searching for a hidden weapon buried beneath the desert. At midnight, a mysterious train appeared on an abandoned railroad. No driver, no passengers, only crates filled with strange weapons. Someone was preparing for war. The sheriff followed the riders into an old silver mine. Inside, hundreds of soldiers were hiding underground. They were building an army. The ghost sheriff attacked the camp at night. Gunfire echoed through the canyon. Explosions lit the desert sky, but the enemy leader escaped. The ghost sheriff attacked the camp at night. Gunfire echoed through the canyon. Explosions lit the desert sky, but the enemy leader escaped. The leader finally revealed himself. A powerful warlord known as the Iron King. He wanted to control the entire frontier. News spread across the Wild West. Towns prepared for war. Old heroes returned to fight beside the ghost sheriff. The biggest battle of the frontier was coming. Standing on a cliff above the desert, the ghost sheriff looked at the rising sun. The war for the frontier had begun, and this time, it would decide the fate of the entire West. The desert night.
You can't escape your fate!
A thin
Take
fog
him
rolled
down,
across the
boys!
abandoned railroad tracks outside Red Canyon. The wind whistled through broken wooden poles, making the wires hum like distant ghosts. Most people in town were asleep. The lawman was awake. On a hill overlooking the valley, the ghost sheriff sat on his dark horse watching the horizon. His glowing blue eyes scanned the empty land. Something was coming. He could feel it. Old miners had whispered about it for weeks. A train that moves without a driver. A train that appears only at midnight. At exactly 12 o'clock, the ground began to tremble. Far away in the darkness, a faint light appeared. Then came the sound. Choo, choo. A steam whistle echoed across the desert. The ghost sheriff narrowed his eyes. The railroad had been abandoned for 10 years. No trains ran here anymore. Yet the sound grew louder. Out of the fog, a massive black steam locomotive slowly appeared. Its metal body looked old and scarred. Lanterns glowed dimly along its sides. But something was wrong. There was no driver, no engineer, no conductor. The train moved by itself. The ghost sheriff rode down the hill toward the tracks. The train slowed as it reached the empty station outside Red Canyon. Steam hissed from its pipes like the breath of some giant creature. The sheriff stepped onto the platform. The doors of the first cargo car slowly creaked open. Inside were wooden crates stacked high. Each crate carried the same burn symbol, the burn line, the mark of the eternal dominion. The sheriff broke open one crate with the butt of his revolver. Inside were rifles, hundreds of them. New weapons, war weapons. Someone was secretly supplying an army. Suddenly, a voice spoke from the darkness behind him. "You shouldn't be here, Sheriff." The sheriff turned. 3 masked riders stood near the edge of the platform. Their coats were black. On their chests burned the symbol of the night wind moved quietly through the desert. After discovering the secret city beneath the sand, the ghost sheriff rode away from the valley, planning his next move. He knew he could not fight the Iron King's army alone, but someone was already watching him. As the sheriff rode through a narrow canyon, his horse suddenly stopped. The air felt wrong, too quiet. Then a voice echoed from the darkness. "Drop your gun, Sheriff." Figures stepped out from behind the rocks. 5 riders, all wearing black coats. Each one carried a rifle. Their leader removed his mask. It was Captain Rourke, one of the Iron King's most dangerous commanders. "We've been waiting for you," Rourke said with a smile. The sheriff slowly moved his hand toward his revolver. Rourke laughed. "You think you can fight 5 of us?" The sheriff didn't answer. Instead, he spoke one calm sentence. "You should have brought more." In one flash, his revolver fired. Blue fire lit the canyon. One rider fell instantly. Gunshots exploded across the rocks. Dust filled the air as bullets struck stone. The sheriff moved like a shadow, firing again and again. Within seconds, 3 riders were down. Rourke fired his rifle, barely missing the sheriff's head. "You're not human!" R.